I'm going to talk about one approach, and I gave it a name just to acknowledge on the front end here, especially for startups. There's a whole spectrum of different approaches that you can take to headcount planning, and it should be informed by the DNA of your business at this current point in time, the snapshot. And so this is not a collectively exhausted list, but some example of those variables might be what is your stage and size? What is your current cash position, and how constrained does your headcount planning need to be? A big one is what is the shape of your leadership team? Is it a core group of three leaders collaborating on this decision, or do you have a broader group of functional leaders of 10 plus? Because you can imagine those team shapes requiring a different approach, right? And so, just to quickly visualize, I kind of see two important vectors or axes here. One is how top down or bottoms up do we need to be right now as a business? For example, if we are more cash constrained, we might just have to be more top down. And do we want to build a more rolling system that facilitates ongoing changes or more of a buttoned up deliverable that's locked into quarterly planning and doesn't change much throughout the quarter, right? So that's typically more of a proactive approach tied to your strategic operating rhythm. Next slide. If you're taking this more balanced, proactive approach, there's three key ingredients that I see as important. The first one is obviously your directional strategic context for managers to metabolize. And that last part of the sentence is really important to me, right? Where are we going? What company are we becoming? And how are we sharing this context to inform managers when they tell us what they need? Without that, if you ask a manager at any point, what hires do they need to make this quarter? All they can tell you is how they can solve their current pain points and the problems in front of them. But informed manager with this directional context can say, these are my problems, and actually this problem over here isn't relevant for where we're going. Here are my hiring needs for the company that you say we want to become, right? And then the third ingredient is a way to clearly and comprehensively prioritize to bring this all together. So next slide. Just to add a little bit more color to the top down and the bottoms up inputs. Obviously, top down comes from strategic planning. Most companies have this in place already. Either you're planning annually on a half year basis or quarterly. This is leadership driven. And this informs where you're primed to invest in the business and where maybe you're primed to hold off investment or maybe tolerate a little bit more pain short term. The bottoms up approach is the front lines view, the people managing the teams that are actually doing the work. They have the most acute understanding of the actual needs for this part of the business, right? And there's a few ways you can source this. If you're a smaller team, maybe your leadership group is literally just going to meet with the managers under them and coming back with this list of needs. Um, or if you're a bigger team, maybe you're putting out a form that's submitted that then comes together for the leadership team to synthesize. But I do want to highly recommend that this is beyond just asking what hires do you need to make, but also asking managers to justify each of those hire requests and consider what alternatives to hiring were considered. This not only helps you understand the importance of each role, but ultimately when it comes to having to cut and prioritize, the roles with a few better alternatives might be more easy to cut in that prioritization phase. So in the last slide here, how do you bring it all together? This is the most specific slide because I just wanted to show you how we do it here at January. It's first an async exercise. We have our list of business needs all piled into one spreadsheet. And then I actually have each leader stack rank each role. And we compile this together for an average priority to get that stack rank. But the most important equation here is the standard deviation, because then we can highlight where are we super aligned? We probably don't need to talk much about that. And where's the red? Where are we not super aligned? We can share some context and have a very pointed meeting together and end that meeting with a decision on what's our true stack rank here before we collaborate with finance and determine what needs to be cut and how we want to phase with recruiting. So that's super quick, hopefully under 5 minutes, but that's kind of just one approach that I've seen when the context calls for it.